Hello everybody, welcome to a very special bike check of mine today. Now, we'll get onto the bike in a second, but first up, I'm going to give you some stats about me. So I'm 80 kilograms, 183 centimeters tall, and I ride fairly smoothly, but that's the boring stuff. What you really want to know is this. This is the brand new 2021 Nukeproof Giga. This is the 290C factory model, 29er front and rear, as you can see, 170mm out back and a whopping 180mm up front. Now they do make this bike in a 27.5 version, which actually bumps up the travel at the back to 180mm. And interestingly, if I wanted to, and you can do this, the back end swap between the two. So I could take the back end of a 27.5, put it on this and make it a mullet. Party out back, business up front, you know that's the way to go fast. Now a few more specifics about this bike then, because this is my weapon and one I'm very much looking forward to thrashing a lot this year. The reach on it is 475mm. The effective seat tube angle is 78 degrees, whilst the head angle is a 63.5 degrees. Pretty gnarly numbers, which should make it a killer bike on those big mountain trails. So as this is a brand new bike for 2021, Nukeproof have built and designed this from the ground up, which means they've managed to incorporate some amazing little features in it. And this thing is packed. So let's start out the back, shall we? So we've got this built-in rear fender here. Now that's just wraps around the tyre and protects the shock and the linkage from just crap flying and splattering away at it. Further down, we've got lots of chainstay protection and down tube protection there. It's going to help it keep it nice and quiet out the back and protect it from inevitable big old rock strikes underneath here. Threaded bottom bracket, always a winner in my book. The down tube is almost got a semicircle in it, which they've managed this integrated bottle cage, which sits really neatly in there, which is beautifully done and does mean that even on a bike of this much travel and this intended use, you can still take water with you. It'll fit up to a 750ml bottle, in fact. Finally, inside the tube is tube-in-tube cable routing, so no pain in the arse trying to fish out that internal routing. Thread it all the way through, out it pops, lovely jubbly. Underneath the top tube here, then you've got these extra little bosses for mounting extra gear on the bike, basically. So things like pump, multi-tool, tube, you can strap whatever you like on it. It's just a real nifty way of carrying even more gear and making this bike sort of completely multi-purpose. Why would you choose something like this then over the Nukeproof Mega, which has been a mainstay in their lineup for many years now and is race proven under sort of Elliott Heap and Sam Hill? Well, let's take a look at the numbers first. On the Mega, the head angle is a 64 degrees. The reach is actually the same at 475, as is that seat tube angle at 78 degrees. All very similar numbers, bar that head tube then. However, the travel on the Mega is less all round. It's 10mm less out back at 160 and 10mm less out front at 170. So you can clearly see that Nukeproof are pitching this as their super enduro bike, meant for the biggest, gnarliest, most hardcore of mountains, whereas the Mega, maybe a slightly more refined version, capable of doing everything, just with a little bit more poise maybe. Really wouldn't surprise me if we saw the Enduro team racing this one this year when you got to those big mountain stages, possibly something like Canada or out in Zermatt, where that extra travel and that stability at high speed is really going to come into play, I think. That's enough of me rambling on. Why don't we take a little look at actually how I've got mine set up for putting in those party laps at the park, and what better place to start than up top at the front cockpit. First up, it's a Nukeproof Horizon 50mm stem mounted to the bars, which I've swapped out now. It's normally aluminium bars that come on this. I like something a bit stiffer, so it's the Horizon carbon bars on that with the Ergon GE1 grips. Olive green with those sick oil slick clamps, because I do love a little bit of colour. XT 4-pot brakes, and what I don't like is a real noisy, rattly bike, so I've actually taped up my dropper and my back brake cables together just so it stops the rattling around. Just used electrical tape but wound it around nice and neat. It's a cool little hack. Moving down then, and it's the depths of winter here in the UK. It's rather grim and gloomy, as you can tell. So a nifty little GMBN mud guard up the front there to keep most of the splatter out my eyes. Wheels, they are an E13 LG1R front and rear carbon wheel, 30mm internal, 28 spoked. Like I said, carbon. I like the feel of a nice stiff rim, and that is mounted up to a Vittoria Mazza up front. This is a trail casing tyre, but I think I'm going to swap that out to one of their enduro casings in a 2.6, just something a bit stiffer. and a bit thicker to take those impacts. Given the intended use of the bike, I think that's definitely the way I'm going to go. And actually inserts in there as well, Nukeproof ARD inserts, because she's going to get a pounding. Braking wise, it's a 203 rotor up front for uber braking power. This thing is going to be going at some pace, so I want as much braking power as possible. Now, I'm sure you're all wondering what the fork is, and it is a weapon. The brand new Fox 38 with a Grip 2 damper. This is obviously Fox's latest offering, burly as anything, and well, just look at it, it's a monster. I'm running 5 tokens and 70 PSI in this fork. The high speed compression is wound all the way open, and the low speed compression is 4 clicks from open. High speed rebound, 5 clicks from open, low speed rebound, 6 clicks from open. Now, it is so new to me that there is probably going to be a little bit of fettling and adjustment as I ride it a bit more and just get used to how it handles. But that's my sort of go-to settings at the moment, so we'll wait and see. Moving back then, middle of the bike, and as on most of my bikes, it's an Ergon. This is their new SM Enduro Pro tie saddle. Again, with those oil slick rails, look how nice they are, and a bit of a tarp. They do match my grips, which is quite cool. This is the right shape saddle for my butt. I like it, that's why it's on all of my bikes the same size. That is bolted onto the top of a Highline dropper seat post from Crank Brothers. 150mm drop on this one. Lower down then, we've got a Shimano XT crank, 170mm. I like the slightly shorter length, and that's got a 32 tooth chainring with a Nukeproof bash guard and chain device. That bash guard, I tell you, is gonna be needed. On the end of them cranks is a lovely bright purple. You gotta have some color, ain't ya? Stamp 7 flat pedal, the larger version from Crank Brothers. I've got size 10 feet, so I prefer to go for the larger pedal. I know Neil and Blake, they've got slightly smaller feet, so those guys actually prefer to run the smaller version. But me, these 10s need a big old platform. Right then, bolted smack bang in the middle of this bike, and the heart of it, if you like, is the brand new Fox Float X2 Air rear shock with a lockout lever, luckily, so you can firm it up on those long liaisons. Now this is a brand new shock to me as well, and one that's taken a bit of tinkering to set up correctly, but from open all the time. Low speed compression is 5 from open, whereas high speed compression is 6 clicks from open. Low speed rebound is 13 clicks from open, and high speed rebound is 7 clicks from open. They've got 2 volume spacers and there are 2 bands around the inside of that shock, and there's 160 PSI. Now again, like the forks, and because this bike is so new to me, that will probably change ever so slightly, but those are the settings that I sort of go to, and it feels correct at the moment. Now, Nukeproof haven't included any kind of flip chip or any other way of adjusting the geometry on this bike. They've made its intentions very clear, but what they have done is provide a little switch on the main pivot on the other side of the bike, which adjusts how progressive the rear suspension is. I run mine in the second setting, which actually makes it more progressive. It's like adding a band in the rear shock. To the back end of this lovely looking bicycle then, let's start off with the gearing. It's Shimano XT again throughout with their 12-speed group set, 1051 cassette at the back, which kind of shows the intention that Nukeproof have for this bike. You know, they really want it to go all day and do everything, so they've given it plenty of gearing to do just that. Braking again is a XT 4-pot brake, and that has actually also got a 203 rear rotor as well. Rear wheel is the other half of that E13 set then. So the LG1R carbon wheel, 30mm internal, as I said, in a 28 spoked. That's mated up to this, the Vittoria Mazza tyre, 2.4 by 29, and this is actually in the Enduro casing. So this is probably the same as what I'm gonna run, just different width on the front there. There is an insert in there as well, and tyre pressures will be roughly 22, 23 up front and about 26 out back. I do check my tyres quite often and have a little play with it, so that will fluctuate ever so slightly depending upon the course. So wrap then on my bike check for my 2021 Nukeproof Giga in a size large. I mean, look at it, carbon front to back. I cannot wait later on this year to hopefully get her in some big mountains and really push it to the limits. But I'm off. If you like this video, why not give it a little thumbs up, subscribe. If you want to know anything more about the Giga, drop us some questions in the comments below. Tech channel, I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Happy riding, everyone.